Hello and welcome to Connected Falkirk's World Book Day Challenge 2023. In this video, I'm going to show you how to use augmented reality or AR on your Connected Falkirk device to help you celebrate World Book Day 2023 with your classes. AR is an excellent way to help pupils to visualise something within their actual environment, and through using AR in your classroom this World Book Day, I hope that we can help bring books to life for them. There are lots of different ways that you can utilise AR for World Book Day, and I've put just some ideas on the screen here. In this particular video, I'm going to focus on how to create a book museum or library of all your pupils' favourite books. However, this works for any of the ones on the screen. They're all done in a very similar way, so feel free to try a slightly different one if you'd like to. So let's get started. We're going to split up this video into 4 easy steps. Finding and saving your images, opening them in AR Maker, the app that we're going to use today, placing the images or objects that you saved earlier into your scene, and then recording it. Now, one very important point to make at the start of this video before we begin is that to create your augmented reality scene, you're going to need an AR app. Today, I'm going to be using AR Maker. This is just a reminder that if you're using a Connected Falkirk device and your school doesn't already have this app on you or your pupil's app portal, you'll need to request it, so please give yourself plenty of time. A reminder of how to request it is on the screen just now. So if you're in a secondary school, you contact your school technician, and if you're in a primary school, you just email connectedfalkirk@falkirk.gov.uk. And remember to include the device names if it's shared devices you'd like the app added to. So let's get started. Once you have AR Maker on your device, it is really simple to use. But first, we need to get some objects to include in our augmented reality world. So step 1 is to find and save images to your camera roll. Since it's World Book Day, I'm planning to create a sort of museum tour, but for my favourite books from my childhood. So to make my museum, I'm going to need book covers. So I'm going to just do a quick search on images for the book I want on Safari and add book cover to the end of my search. So I'm going to search for Matilda book cover at the moment. I'm then going to go to images, and then I'll choose the one that I'd like. So I'm going to try and find the old version that I used to read. And when I find the one I want, I'm going to tap on the image to preview it on the right hand side. Then I'm going to take one finger and hold it onto that picture, and then a menu should appear, and I'm going to tap Save to Photos. Now that's going to put that photo into the camera roll on my device, so if I go out of Safari and into camera roll, you can see it at the bottom here. I can then continue doing this until I have images for all of my book covers saved into my camera roll. If I would like any other objects in my museum, I can also save those as well. And for this, you want to make sure you're finding images with transparent backgrounds, so make sure you add that into your search criteria if you're going to add anything else. But what I found is if you search for book covers, it's only the book cover that you can see. There's no backgrounds usually on them, so overall they work pretty well, and you don't have to look for ones that specifically have a transparent background. So once you've saved your images for all of your book covers that you want to include, that's stage 1 finished. At this point there is an optional stage, so you may wish to also design your own objects using Keynote. Within Keynote you can draw things to add to your scene or design them using the objects that are available within the app, and this is quite a nice idea if you want a little bit of an extra challenge. So feel free to follow the QR code that's on the screen just now, and that'll take you to an extension video that'll show you exactly how to do that. If you're happy just taking the images from the internet, then you can skip this optional stage and move on to step 2. So now we have our images or objects, we're now going to open the AR Maker app and input these book covers. First thing we need to do is find the AR Maker app, so it's the small purple kind of bluey tile that's on the right hand side here, and then we tap Start. Now there's lots of options of different templates that you can use, but for this we want to create our own scene, so we're just going to tap Create Own Scene and then Start there. Once in, your camera will turn on and you'll need to allow this as this is your first time using the app. Then you want to allow the app to scan your environment, so move your camera around and make sure there's enough light in the room. When the app detects a flat surface in your scene, it will add a grid to it, and you can decide which surface you want to use. It might just be the top of your desk, or you may want to set up your museum on the floor. You then tap the area where you want to set the scene, and a menu will appear on the left hand side of your scene at this point. So I'm going to choose the desk in this example. So if I tap, you'll see that the grid disappears and it's now outlined that area and a menu's appeared on the left hand side. We then want to tap new, and with the first two options here, I can either draw an object within the app for my scene, or I can take a picture to input using the camera. However, I'm going to tap the folder icon, which is the one below, and this is going to take me to my camera roll. Tap that Matilda book cover that I saved earlier. I can use the next page to adjust the size of my book, so I can zoom in or zoom out. But to be honest, I'm quite happy with the size of it as it was, so I'm going to hit the big tick on the right hand side. Then on the next screen, I can crop it if I want, and I can change the way that it looks. So by tapping the objects at the bottom, I can change how it looks in terms of it being 3D, but that doesn't really work for my image. So I'm going to hit that first one, which is the flat version, and I'm going to hit that tick again on the left hand side. It's then going to tell me that I've saved it successfully to my AR library and that it's ready to be used. Now this is now the most time consuming bit. All of those images that you want to put into your AR scene need to be inputted into your library. So if I have 5 books, I need to do that process 5 times. It's a bit annoying, but once you've done it, they're there forever and they're ready to be used. So we're going to do that a couple of times just now, and you'll get quicker at it each time, I promise. So just a reminder, you tap new, then you tap the folder, then you choose the photo that you want, then the tick mark twice, and then tap OK. And that's it now into your AR library. Once all of your book covers are uploaded, they will be down that left hand side of the screen in the menu, and now we're ready to place them. So let's move on to step 3, setting your AR scene by placing your objects. So through your camera, you'll see a circle in the middle of your iPad screen that shows where your iPad is pointing. You need to move this to where you want to place your object, but you can select your object first. So from the menu on the left hand side, tap the object you want and then move your iPad physically around to find where you want to put it, and then tap place when you're ready to set it there. Then you select your next object and you can do the same thing. And what you can do is use 2 fingers by dragging on the screen to make the object bigger or smaller. I want to make my books look really, really big, like not lifelike at all big, because I'm going to do a book tour or book review of them. And you basically keep doing that until all of your objects are in your scene. So as I mentioned, moving your camera around, place the object wherever you'd like it to go, and you can change the sizes before you place it. If you make a mistake, there's an undo button just above the place button. Perfect. You can also add animations to your objects by tapping them and then tapping their picture in the bottom right if you want to make your scene a little bit more interesting, but I'm not going to add anything to mine at the moment. Now, as I mentioned earlier, you can also add objects that you've designed in other places, like in Keynote or Canva, as long as they have a transparent background. So I might want to add a logo for my library or museum that looks a bit like this. So I've put one that says Lauren's Library with an icon, and I've just uploaded that from Canva, and I can now place it in my library. I can even add a book character that I used Keynote to draw earlier on. So I drew a very hungry caterpillar, and I can just import that as well and put it on my desk here in between my books. Now that you've created your scene, it's up to you what you do with it. Once everything's in place, you can walk around your AR creation and you can be in it as well. Just ask your friend to hold your iPad up and point it at you as you do the tour. So now that you've built it, what you might actually want to do though is record it so that you can keep this as a memory of your learning for the future. So the great news is the app has a built-in camera and video recorder. So if you tap the little arrow on the top of the menu on the left, it will disappear, and on the right you will now see 2 symbols that allow you to record or take photos whilst in the app. So I can hit the camera button if I want to take a photo of my scene, or if I want to record it, I can hit the video camera above it. And as soon as I hit that, everything will record within the app, and then I can save it to my camera roll for later. For example, I might now hit record and start recording my tour of my book museum. Or I might do a book review or recreate my favourite book scene using my favourite character, the very hungry caterpillar. Remember before you leave the app to save your creation so that you can come back to it any time. Once it's been saved, you can find it by hitting the library button at the bottom of the screen beside templates, and this means that you can open it again whenever you come back into the app, and it will recognise that same environment again so that you can redo your library. So that's how to use AR to create a virtual library, and hopefully you can see that the possibilities are endless. If you finish that and you're keen to do more World Book Day related digital activities, or maybe you didn't want to do a book tour, why not try some of our other ideas for tasks that are available that are on the screen just now? For example, why not recreate your favourite book scene? You could add in characters using the methods that were shown in the video, or you could draw your own scene in Keynote and import the pictures in. Or why not design your own cosy story corner for reading in your classroom with a selection of books that you think your classmates might enjoy? These all use AR Maker on the iPad and are a great way of extending this year's activity. If you do want to import some of your own designs or drawings from Keynote, remember there's an extension video to show you how to do that in the description below, or at the start of the video there was the QR code for it as well. Have fun with it, and as always, please do share what you've done with us on Twitter by tagging us using @Connected